And the intense police work to find the suspected murderer.
Investigators tracking disposable cell phones called burner phones, fake email accounts, and DNA found in discarded pizza box to finally arrest their suspect, Rex Heuermann.
The 59-year-old architect and married father of two now charged with killing 3 women, and he is the prime suspect in the murder of a 4th. He's now being held without bail.
We have several reports tonight. Darla Miles live in Midtown outside the office where Heuermann was taken into custody last night. Kristen Thorne live in Massapequa Park where Heuermann lived on a normally quiet, unassuming block. But we begin with Jim Dolan live in Yaphank where officials just wrapped up a news conference on today's arrest. Jim.
Dave, prosecutors say 59-year-old Rex Heuermann used a burner cell phone. He had several of them to track what they called sadistic torture pornography on the internet and also to look for child pornography. He is the father of 2 children, and he's charged now with the murders of 3 young women whose bodies were found along Gilgo Beach more than a decade ago. A pizza crust and the DNA found there was the final piece of evidence that led at last to this.
Rex Heuermann is a demon that walks among us, a predator that ruined families. And if not for the members of this task force, he would still be on the streets today.
Police announced an arrest in the murders of 3 of the women whose bodies were found along Gilgo Beach in Suffolk County in 2010 and 2011.
What do you think is the most important qualities a person in your position?
Patience.
Rex Heuermann, a husband and father of 2 children who lives in Massapequa Park, was arrested last night near his Manhattan architectural office and charged with 3 counts of murder.
It's extremely circumstantial in nature. In terms of speaking to my client, the only thing I can tell you that he did say as he was in tears was, "I didn't do this."
The Gilgo Beach serial killings gripped the nation. In all, 11 bodies were found along the beach there, but 4 of the bodies were found wrapped in burlap, and a single serial killer was always considered responsible for at least those. Heuermann is charged with the murders of 24-year-old Melissa Barthelemy, 22-year-old Megan Waterman, and 27-year-old Amber Lynn Costello. He is the chief suspect in the murder of Maureen Baynard Barnes, but he is not yet charged with that murder. All were thought to be sex workers at the time of their deaths. The families of some of the other Gilgo Beach victims celebrated the news of an arrest today.
Finally, something has been done. And finally, somebody has been caught.
The case was cracked finally with the DNA from the pizza crust, but also when the FBI got involved. They were able to track massive amounts of cell phone data from the area. Heuermann has been under the scrutiny of investigators for several weeks.
There was a lot of torture, porn, and what you would consider, depictions of women being abused, being raped, and being killed.
Heuermann pleaded not guilty today. He will remain in jail at least until the trial. We mentioned the burner phones. Prosecutors say Heuermann used one of those phones to track the Gilgo Beach investigation, searching on the internet at one point, why hasn't the Long Island serial killer been found? Prosecutors say now he has.